Do you smell that? That is the pungent aroma of Colin Bridgerton's copium. Hi, I'm LadyJenevia, and on my channel I like to talk about entertainment media. We finally have a trailer for Bridgerton Season 3, and in my previous Bridgerton video, a whole lot of you clicked off before making it to the very end, which means you missed my final edit, and I'm certainly not about to waste a perfectly good cutaway.
Huh?
Your mouth is so big.
My God. I know.
Well, that was rather direct.
I know this is what we've all been waiting for, a full trailer, but I must say the timing of this trailer release was wild. About a month ago, I got an email saying, "Hey bestie, do you want to be on the junket for this new Netflix series?" Not Bridgerton, a different one. And I said, sure, not really knowing if anything would come from that. As it turns out, I did get booked on the junket, which spanned the last 2 days, so I had to wake up extremely early to get ready for day 1 of the junket, and while I was getting ready, the Bridgerton Season 3 trailer was released. Then I did my first junket interview with the showrunners. I had to go on with my day, and then once I finished my day, I had to do my write-up for the new trailer and the new episodic images that I still hadn't talked about on my channel. And then the next morning, which was this morning, I had to wake up to do junket interviews with the cast of this other show. And now I'm filming this video, which you are watching. Thank you for that. Now, I'm not complaining at all. I'm always happy to get to be included on major junkets, but I do feel like my brain is slightly all over the place after juggling the timelines of these different projects simultaneously. But anyway, my junket interviews include spoilers, so I will be publishing those after the show is released, or basically on release day. So make sure that you stream Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix on April 25th, so you will be able to understand my questions, many of which get into plot spoilers.
Dead Boy Detectives?
It's Aces, right?
It's just a stupid name.
I do enjoy doing junkets, and I would love to do more of them. If any of you watched my Anyone But You junket interviews, you know that if I see an opening, I'm inclined to act up a bit.
This is a career milestone. It's my first time ever interviewing a spy kid.
Now, as a fanatic of modern literature,
Don't get too trashed and I win bonus points.
but of course, the star of today's episode is Bridgerton Season 3. We're at the final push before these new episodes are released. We also only have one more Season 2 watch party to do over on my Patreon. If you join the free tier, you will be able to join that watch party. Most of the watch parties are for paid members, but that one I will open up for all patrons, like I did with Bridgerton Season 2, episodes 5 and 6. Thank you to my patrons for all of your support. Now let's talk about the episodic images, and then we will get into everything from the trailer, though admittedly some feedback overlaps between both certain promotional images and then certain tidbits from the trailer. The images are sort of in an order that I put them in. You will figure this out as we go. First up, Charlotte.
Get out of my class.
Next up, Lady Danbury and a new guy. I saw him pop up in the trailer before I saw this still image. I pulled the information off of my Netflix press account. This is Lord Anderson, and I don't have too much to say because this is a new character and there isn't all that much presented of him apart from a few seconds of him exchanging looks with Violet, and then we also have this still image with Lady Danbury. Speculation, he and Lady Danbury know each other? Maybe the looks he's exchanging with Violet are hinting at some sort of romantic vibe, but to be quite honest, the clip is so short that I really don't feel secure in having all that strong of an opinion yet. I was trying to look up the actor, Daniel Francis, because I figured if I could at least get his age, that might guide my speculation a bit, but it wasn't listed on his IMDb. Now, here's my thing. I cannot look at this man and have any idea how old he is. He could be in his 40s and he could be 80 years old or anything in between. And I would go, yeah, all right, fair enough. Now, if you think I'm being hyperbolic for humor's sake, you are incorrect. And I will tell you exactly why. Have any of you seen those pictures of Ernie Hudson at the premiere for the new Ghostbusters film? Because I need to know, how exactly is this man 78 years old? All of this is almost 80 years old. I've never looked this good in my life. I would love to look this good at any age, let alone at age 78. Now, maybe a hot take, but this picture of Colin and Penelope, it's really not giving anything. You know what this is giving? This is giving, we know that they're the main couple of the season, but we're running out of scenes to pull from because we're only going to preview episodes 1 through 4 right now, and we don't want to give away the juiciest bits. This might have sufficed if this was presented in the first batch of promotional images, but we are so far past that now. We're at the trailer release, and this is simply not good enough this late in the game for me to have all that much to say.
I'm bored.
Time for the dank meme. Am I going to call him that all season? Maybe so. I'm intrigued by how much they're previewing him. He was even in the trailer countdown video, and in my humble speculation, he's the one that's going to be giving us comedic relief. Now, of course, I expect that Colin and Penelope will have their fair share of comedic elements to their story, because why would you have Nicola Coughlan be the lead and not give her comedy to do?
Hey there.
Hi, I'm a lesbian.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But if we talk about someone who is there to be consistently on a comedic frequency, I'm counting on my boy Dank Meme over here to deliver the goods. The next image is Penelope with Francesca. This is the same ball that we have seen in the Cantonese sneak peek clip, as well as, of course, the oh so beloved I'm Good Without You clip.
Good night, Mr. Bridgerton.
So help me if I have to single-handedly manifest this show finally putting some Y2K urban bops into their soundtrack, so be it. I'm more than capable of skimming the list of tracks you keep using, and my feedback on them is very clear. Demasiado blanco. You mean to tell me there's no room for Mystique's Scandalous? Really? But actually, no. If you're going to use that, please save it for Benedict's season, because he's my favorite and that song is my favorite, and so it goes. But yes, Francesca and Penelope are interacting in some sort of capacity. Perhaps they are commiserating over their shared misery of having to parade themselves around for generationally wealthy Englishmen. And I love the idea of that because it's nice for me to have characters to relate to.
Our friendship is built on our mutual distrust of England.
This is especially intriguing for me, though, because as someone who doesn't read the books until after I've watched the episodes adapted from those books, I really don't know who this girl is. And I've said that before about Francesca. In rewatching the previous seasons of Bridgerton on those Patreon watch parties that I mentioned, it was downright comical how Francesca would briefly appear in a scene and then you would blink and she was nowhere to be seen.
I'm allergic to the sun.
You're allergic to the sun.
But without a doubt, the most shocking revelation of this new promotion drop, Eloise Bridgerton hanging out with Cressida? What in the M. Night Shyamalan type of plot twist is this? The one and only thing that got a visceral response from me in the trailer was seeing these two walking around like they're best mates all of a sudden. And now, seeing this promotional image, this is a situation.
All right, we got a situation.
If you only saw them walking around with each other one time in the trailer at this outdoor get-together, you could maybe write that off as Eloise and Penelope haven't made up yet, so they're doing the petty, make your friend jealous type of thing. But the fact that it's not just there, but also at this theater event, what are we, the Marx Brothers? Were we out for a night at the opera? This is serious. So much for I would rather die, huh, Eloise?
I may have lived.
I would rather die.
Turn thee, Benvolio. Look upon thy death.
Next image is Will and Alice Mondrich. Oh, they are coming for the girls. Do you see this? Marital bliss? Do you see how Alice's hair is down and Will's got the jacket off, top button undone, collar is popped? I am ready for them to ruin my life. I will thank them for it. I already had the sense that they were giving Will a lot more to do in this season because they had set him up for that across seasons 1 and 2. You had the fight, the bet, securing the bag, starting the club, being the only one to clock what's his face as a fraud. But I didn't really know if they were going to extend that story upgrade to Alice too, but I really wanted that. I wanted to see them in love, and now we have it here in high definition. Hot people being in love, yes, more of that in abundance, please, in the Bridgerton universe. And better than that, as far as I'm aware, both of these characters don't come from generational wealth. Now, I don't 100% know this to be the case, especially for Alice, since they haven't given a lot of information about her backstory yet, but maybe we can finally learn something about these other characters that keep getting pushed to the sideline, but I personally would rather learn more about them. I need to know more about this relationship. I want to see the love that they have for each other, and I need to see it in abundance. The next picture is unsurprisingly. The Benedict, Colin, Gregory one. Objectively, is this image as juicy as some of the other ones, such as the Will and Alice one or the Eloise and Cressida one? No, but Benedict is my guy, and I will not apologize for that. This household is Team Capybara all day, every day. The brothers have their jackets off, so there is this element of informality here, but no one's forearms are exposed, so it's not that exciting. What I do find interesting, though, is the fact that Gregory is here. Now, I'm going to need these older brothers to keep this conversation age appropriate.
I take it the two of you? No?
Do not look at me.
Have you ever visited a farm?
No.
But I would like to know a bit about who Gregory is. We don't need to dig too deeply into his layers just yet. There are still several letters of the alphabet to get through before we reach G, but I would like to have more of a sense of his identity and personality and what sets him apart from the other Bridgertons, because up until this point, Gregory and Hyacinth have had little to do beyond just being the babies of the family, and admittedly they have been adorable.
Perhaps she decided she must change into a different dress.
That is absurd. She looked beautiful.
But who exactly is Gregory? Is he more silly, shy, humorous, or perhaps
Pensive?
Damn, I was going for thoughtful.
And if you've read the books, don't tell me what he's like in his book. I don't want to know, and I don't need to know right now. We are not there yet, so don't spoil it for me. But now, of course, we get to my two favorite images of this latest batch. My guy, Lord Debling, he's here to be a problem for Colin. He's here to serve a delicious dish of karma to Colin. How does it taste, Colin? I hope it tastes like emotional distress. First, the Lord Debling image of him putting his name on Penelope's dance card. All I can say is you go, girl. You go and you dance with an eligible suitor. One quick little thing I want to address, though. I'm enjoying Finch's vibes in the back of this image. This is a big moment for Penelope, and he doesn't even seem to see it. He's probably got a cheese platter in his hand. He's got his priorities straight. He's a happily married man. Why should he concern himself with this drama of the marriage mart? Worry about your wife and worry about your cheese. Wine and cheese tour with Mr. Finch. Who's in? Because I'm ready to go. But yeah, Penelope is getting a dance with Lord Debling, and I love that for her, considering that we saw how rough of a go she has had not only in seasons 1 and 2, but also for that first ball where she's shuffling and uncomfortable. She has that confrontation with Colin and rips him a new one, as she should.
I have a thing about feminine rage.
I also think it's really sad that she's looking at Portia, because Portia has been so deeply unkind to Penelope for more or less her entire life, and now she's seemingly in a position to get some validation from her mother, and I think this is where we really dig into the difference in the layers of family dynamics between the Bridgertons and the Featheringtons. If we rewind back to season 2, Eloise had that confrontation with her mother. It was her, my rebellion's not a phase, mother. This is real. This is me. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be moment. And that's where we have this stark difference between Violet and Portia. Violet is never painted out to be a perfect mother who does no wrong. She did not effectively prepare Daphne for what exactly goes on with marital relations, consummation, reproduction.
Where does the pollen go?
And with Anthony, we saw how so much weight was put on his shoulders because of how deep Violet was in her grief. And I already said the thing that happened with Eloise. The difference, though, is that as a general tendency, we usually get to see some sort of reconciliation, resolution, or affirmation with those relationships. The Bridgerton children are able to get to that point of letting it out, telling Violet what's bothering them, and you ultimately have the love between them as a family reaffirmed of mother and child and how much they love one another. But with Portia, they've never made it out to be that way. Penelope has never been able to have that aha breakthrough with Portia, and allegedly, in my opinion, that's not who Portia is as a mother. If they ever have the audacity to try to redeem her, I will be genuinely angry. Not any more angry than is appropriate when we're ultimately just talking about fictional characters. My deepest visceral rage is reserved for the architects and benefactors of the war machine in real life and not fiction. But as far as I allow myself to be upset with a fictional story on a fantasy romance show, I will never accept a Portia redemption. I think it fundamentally sends the wrong message, especially to younger viewers or viewers who perhaps may still be working through emotional trauma regarding figuring out how to cut off toxic people. If someone is going to consistently harm you for decades, it is absolutely valid to cut them off. I don't want to see Portia in any sort of major way after this season. Penelope is about to get her generationally wealthy childhood crush to fall in love with her and realize that and dote on her for the rest of their lives. There is nothing she needs from Portia. The greatest gift Portia can give Penelope after this season is to go away. Penelope, do not get a husband to please your mother. Get a husband because you love each other and want to live a happy shared life. That was weird. I did not expect to get on an emotional soapbox back there. So let's return to the fun, feral stuff. Let's talk about Lord Debling's thumb. If you're already familiar with my work, you are aware that I've been known to have a fair few words to say about hand stuff. Are we just going to pretend like this man hasn't had his nails buffed? As someone who can only put the nail varnish on for the weekend and then am cruelly forced to remove it during the week, I'm well aware of what nails look like. And this man has had some work done. Someone really sat down with him and said, we're about to stir the pot, and in order to maximize the emotional damage on Mr. No Thought's head empty, we need to buff your nails.
Hey guys, come with me as I shove my father into a balloon.
But what can I say? I love this attention to details. Fellas, what exactly is stopping you from getting on Lord Debling's level? Nails buffed, beard trimmed to perfection, boundaries close but respectful, picnic pillow fluffed and plumped. You all were expecting me to come on here and speculate about what exactly has them so distressed in the face. Sorry, I can't even see their faces right now. I'm too busy looking at the buffed nails, the hand placement perfectly perched on her waist, and the thumb on her bare skin. How am I doing right now? I am phenomenally feral. Thank you for asking. How hard do you think Colin's going to faceplant when he sees these two so intimately wrapped up in one another? Oh, I know he's crying and screaming into a throw pillow, and I will sit and laugh, and I will not apologize for that. The thumb on the skin is especially unhinged when you remember that Simon put his thumb on Daphne's back, or maybe it was a different finger, but the very notion of doing something in a similar vicinity between Penelope and her non-Bridgerton suitor, I will be laughing about this for months. Thank you. This is symbolic of how dangerously close Colin is to losing the love of his life. Yes, I know and you know that Colin and Penelope are endgame, but Colin is not the audience. He doesn't know that. He's going to panic, and I will laugh at his suffering. Call me Hayley Williams, because that's what you get.
Closer.
But let's get to the trailer now. Lots to talk about because I'm not going to take the time to get myself set up to film, just to film a quick short video. Let's be somewhat thorough. But for this, I will go through things sequentially. Francesca in this dress. I suppose I didn't give much thought to this, but now that there are 3 of them to look at, I would be interested to know the thought process behind these dresses because they make extremely similar dresses for all of the Bridgerton girls to wear whenever they debut in society. The accessories are different. For example, the necklaces are one of the first things that you can see as being something different between the 3. Daphne's headwear, her tiara is more prominent and visible, whereas Eloise and Francesca, the feather is more dominant and the tiara part of the headpiece is more so buried underneath that. Now, maybe that was done because Daphne was the most poised and calm, cool, and collected. She made it look easy to impress the queen. She was crowned the diamond of the season, and she very nearly married a monarch, but the other 2, seemingly not so much. I don't know who was crowned the diamond in Penelope's book, but if you know, don't tell me. I don't want those spoilers. Another thing that's noticeable is the design that goes across the chest. Eloise has more of this yellowish gold color prominently featured, and she also has the gemstones, a belt, I don't know, whatever this is that's underneath there, whereas Daphne and Francesca just have a ribbon or some sort of fabric that's uniform with the color of the majority of the dress. So I suppose my question would be, is this supposed to be one family dress that's passed on for each Bridgerton girl to wear when they debut, and we just assume that the audience won't notice that they're different? Or do they all have these extremely similar dresses made to wear once and never do it again, because looking this ridiculous just the one time was more than enough? Married Cantony, happy Cantony, marital bliss. More of this, please. We love to see it. This is presumably from that same scene as that other still image when we first saw Kate wearing this orange jacket. I just love everything about it. Next up, Will and Alice, my babies, my loves. I'm obsessed with Will wearing this deep purple. This color suits him very well. And I love this purplish, pinkish dress that Alice is wearing. It nicely matches Will without matching them. They just look like they fit together. And what exactly are they reading? I have no idea. I was distracted by the outfits. Eloise and Cressida apparently being friends. Well, we already talked about that. Penelope appears distressed by this development, and since she still has a fair bit of yellow in her dress when she sees them together in this clip, I'm assuming that this small bit of the trailer is going sequentially. Penelope realizes that she's not going to be making up with Eloise anytime soon, so the only person she can rely on right now to have her back is herself. And to a certain extent, Madame Delacroix also does, though that's more so in a professional capacity and also just because she already knows that she's Lady Whistledown. But all that Lady Whistledown money will sure come in handy, Penelope, when you need to do a makeover and your family is broke. But one question I have about that, though, is wouldn't Portia wonder where she got the money to buy new clothes? Dank meme, serving ridiculousness. Thank you for giving the comedy girlies some good material.
Does my lady have a suitor in mind?
Is that her brother?
Colin?
Now, why would you go and do a thing like that? I've more than once pointed out that Netflix's Bridgerton only puts East Asians on the show as set dressing, and at least for this season, we got Dank Meme showing up to bring us some comedy, and he is East Asian, but for you to put an unknown East Asian actress in the line of fire to potentially get harassed by shippers who don't know what boundaries are, as if we didn't just watch Ruby and Charitra get all kinds of nastiness hurled at them because they took a job on a romance show for which they were not cast to play the endgame love interest. This little situation you did, this thing you put in the trailer, that better be all we see of this, because I do not have the space to do more emotional labor of defending the humanity of yet another woman of color who is just trying to book a job and pay their rent while some people decide to ruin the fun by doing too much online. Just leave this girl alone. And don't go starting in again on Ruby or Charitra. The mods and spam filters can throw all of that out quickly. It's not welcome here.
Brother, under what foreign sun did you apparently get so sturdy?
Why is this the only real material Benedict has in this trailer? We had Penelope and Colin's overly bloated subplot eating up too much time in season 2. There were far too many moving parts to that, but now that hopefully, presumably, Benedict is next up, he's barely in the promotion. What's that all about?
Where is he right now?
I mean, I'm well aware that he's been known to poke fun at his siblings. He's the one with the biggest sense of humor, but just this once, I don't love this line. And why, you might ask? Because this is doing tell, don't show. If you really did your aged up glow up well for one of your leads of the season, you wouldn't need to overly explain it with dialogue. And really, why the word sturdy? He doesn't look any different to me than he did in season 2. The only difference is that his top's off and his hair is worse. Why didn't you have Benedict make fun of his hair? I need Benedict to say the quiet part out loud. The hair is bad.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Is it?
Drag him, drag him, drag him, drag him, Penelope. I need you to sing.
Solar plexus, instep, nose, right!
I love that Penelope was already trying to fight him. We saw the confrontation at the ball, but I didn't know she was giving him an attitude before this. Happy to see it though. Vengeance, thy name is Penelope Featherington. Benedict and Colin are being chased by the ladies of the town because they're still single and Gregory is far too young to be dealing with any of this nonsense. Anthony, however, is having a lovely time at these balls because he just gets to frolic with his wife, the love of his life. And Francesca, she's riding the struggle bus. Her and Colin have that in common. I was initially a bit taken aback by Penelope being shown to not get the attention she would like to get while wearing this blue dress because I remembered that promotional image of her with Lord Debling, and in that image she was wearing this dress. But maybe that could be the night that she meets Lord Debling for the first time. I don't know if we've seen anything to definitively place Debling at that first ball where she debuted the emerald dress, but even if he was there, maybe they just haven't talked to each other yet. Somebody probably had to introduce them first. And I have no idea what mutual acquaintances they would have in common when he's a new character.
If a husband is what you seek, let me help you. Are we not friends?
This handshake, though, it feels like a nice button to put on the end of a conversation of him explaining his point of view for the season 2 finale incident, and for him to apologize in an effective enough way for Penelope to accept that apology and forgive him to at least enough of an extent that she's willing to tolerate his presence and accept his help to find a husband and secure the bag.
I should like to see your skills as they are first.
How delightful to see you all.
Penelope struggling to flirt. Ooh, I feel this energy.
The splendid weather we are having.
When you force me to socialize and I don't want to, this is what I imagine I look like. Not physically, but the vibe. Yeah, this feels about right.
I would not be angry if you found me to be a lost cause.
You must not say such things. You.
This part where Penelope is touching her mouth. Now, I don't know what happens in the book, and don't tell me, but this mouth touch, I feel like she and Lord Debling just kissed. I saw John Tucker Must Die. You think I don't know a just kissed someone new for the first time and I felt an electric shock because they were wearing a wire mouth touch? The dress is the same dress as the thumb on bare skin image, and I think that's why Colin's pulling out the brooding face. Copium Colin. That's the sequel for Mr. No Thought's Head Empty. Two sides of the same coin. Two nicknames, one clown. And just to be clear here, I'm doing a lot of speculation. Now, if any of these speculations end up being true, I would like to make it clear I'm not leaking anything. But I did a video essay about Anyone But You months before it came out. A trailer hadn't even been released yet. Multiple things I said in that video ended up being true. For example, I made a Glen Powell is old joke, and unbeknownst to me, the film repeatedly makes fun of his character for being old.
Probably thinking I'm 27. Early 28s.
I said that the wedding vows would be a good spot to slip in a quote from the source material, and that did in fact happen.
I love you with so much of my heart that none is left to protest.
Now, that situation was a bit different because that movie was based on a Shakespeare play that I already knew. I wasn't running away from William Shakespeare plot spoilers the way that I am with the Bridgerton books. But anyway, we will see if anything I say ends up being accurate.
I'm only helping her find one.
Since when are you worried about Penelope?
I love this shot of Eloise looking suspiciously at, well, Colin, presumably. I do want Penelope and Eloise to talk things out eventually, but I do sort of love the idea of Colin being ridiculous and that ridiculousness being a driving force in getting Penelope and Eloise back together as besties. The heavy breathing is so funny to me. I cannot reiterate that enough. A little hyperventilating. Did you realize there is something betwixt you, Copium Colin?
Knows to be true is that diamonds are not the only gems that sparkle.
This makeover montage that they threw together for this trailer, you see how Penelope touches her lips for the sake of either applying or touching up her makeup. That is not the same type of mouth touch that we saw earlier. That's why I think she and Lord Debling kissed. I don't know if this allegedly, in my opinion, kiss happened before or after the thumb incident, but either way, I'm leaning forward in my seat. Anyway, Colin's breathing heavily because he's questioning every life decision he's ever made. How exactly in the hell do you get yourself in the position of helping the woman that you love find a husband that is not you? She didn't even ask you to do that. You offered that up entirely of your own volition. What on earth would you know about love or romantic wooing, Colin?
You can't make love to a salad.
Anyway, I am living for this dress reveal. Keep in mind, we have seen this dress more than once in promotion. Admittedly, this shot has better composition for maximizing the impact of the dress, and moreover, it's a reveal. Who doesn't love a good reveal? Oh, I don't even wear dresses. I couldn't tell you what year it was the last time I wore one, but speaking purely as a spectator, I love a good dress reveal. Maybe Amanda Bynes was the blueprint. You know, those evil English women, they tried to make her ugly and she had that fabulous dress reveal. That was a bit later on in the movie, though. It was after she tried to liberate England from the monarchy.
Death. Death to the enemies of the people of the Republic.
Lord Debling. He is eager to take a wife this season.
Is he now? Oh, interesting. Where did he come from? Is that explained in the show, why we haven't seen him till now? Or do we just pretend like he's been there in the Ton the whole time? Because if you really think about that, if he's new to the Ton, he wouldn't know any of the baggage about Penelope specifically, or more broadly speaking, her family. Now, admittedly, people in the Ton can gossip, but if there's genuine sparks between him and Penelope, maybe he's willing to throw away the gossip that is negative towards her.
You look especially beautiful tonight, Miss Featherington.
Thank you for noticing, Lord Debling. Pollen shippers, you better leave this man alone. He's an actor, he's there to do a job. Or wait, do romance fans only harass the women performers who play characters that get entangled with a main character when they haven't been cast to play the endgame love interest? If you're a romance fan and you don't do that, then you have no reason to be offended by what I just said. If it doesn't apply, then your temper has no reason to fly. Colin is sulking, seething, crying, screaming, throwing up, passing out, jumping out of one of the many Bridgerton family mansions. Now that Penelope's being courted by an eligible suitor. Yes, a delicious meal, thank you. May I have a mojito with that? The weather is starting to turn hot, much to my disdain.
You have done Very well, Penelope.
I bet that's the first nice thing Portia's ever said to Penelope. How long until we can throw her out? I'm sick of her. This is airtime we could be using on Benny Boo 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 Boo.
What more could you want?
Mother, do you believe the best foundation for love is friendship?
Are you serious? You're just figuring that out now? You had how many years to get with her? When did these two meet? Childhood, presumably? How old are you? Early 20s? But now you think, well, gee, maybe if I'm friends with my wife and we genuinely like each other, la vie est belle. Straight men, are you okay?
Oh, if I only had a brain.
It's just too little too late, Colin. Penelope's got a boyfriend now. A boyfriend with a beard and buff nails. What do you have to offer? More hallucinogens?
Are you on drugs?
400 keys of pure vanilla ice cream.
This might be a hot take, but I'm a bit put off by these overhead shots. Now, that's not because I think they look bad. I think they look perfectly fine, but you really mean to tell me that in dividing up your budget for the show, you wanted to get the equipment for a couple of these overhead shots, but you couldn't be bothered to invest in proper lighting equipment for the Goodnight Mr. Bridgerton confrontation? That scene was a good time, and I have a lot of fun watching Penelope drag him whenever I play that clip back. But the lighting in the scene, oh, it's naff. My lighting is just okay, but I'm a small YouTube channel using a light that was gifted to me. I'm not a multi-million-dollar juggernaut of a series getting greenlit by a mega corporation. What are we doing here? Netflix. Up the budget. Or better yet, build up your in-house lighting equipment for easy access for your originals to use. You know, all those originals that look notoriously cheap. We should have known it was all downhill when you canceled Sense8 for being too expensive. Truly, the gall of tech bros to question the Wachowskis?
I see you, Miran! I see you! With your fucking Miran mustache!
Anyway, what's this I see? A little night terror for Copium Colin? Did all that head empty energy finally burn out and now you have to actually think about what you've done? Bridgerton goes horror. That's honestly kind of fierce. I don't mind a bit of horror. I've got horror on my wall right over here. That's a good reminder, actually. Don't forget to support Melissa Barrera's new horror film, Abigail, coming to cinemas next week. I will be there. Opening weekend, I have no doubt about that. Francesca is being pensive, looking at a portrait of her parents. I don't have anything to add since I stay away from book spoilers, but clearly she's struggling with something. And we all know I already talked about Lord Anderson, but wait a minute. Tell me why IMDb has his character name listed as Marcus? Marcus? Really?
Marcus Anthony Coughlan II, you better answer me right now.
But finally, we have this oh-so-dramatic confrontation between Colin and Penelope, and everything about this energy, the emotion in Penelope's eyes and Colin being stressed, looking at her mouth, breathing heavily. You know what I really think this scene is? I think this is the end of episode 4. You need to remember that this is when they are debuting the 2-part airing for Bridgerton for the first time. 4 episodes per part, released 1 month apart. And it would benefit the show greatly to end part 1 with something very dramatic, something that will make the audience ravenous for part 2 to come out. Well, what could be more dramatic than, follow me on this journey, Penelope telling Colin off for what he said. He offers to help her find a husband. She starts things up with Lord Debling, but deep down she still feels conflicted because she's been in love with Colin for ages. And now Colin is finally starting to catch up. He's starting to have even a single thought in his empty head. But moreover, the emotions are flaring up. He's starting to have a visceral response to seeing Penelope be courted. So something happens to get these two in the same place late at night. And all Penelope wants is for Colin to finally, for once in his life, just have a coherent thought about their situation. Just admit you're in love with her, because even though she likes Lord Debling, the heart wants what it wants. So if Colin would just get his head out of his backside, they could get on with their happy love journey. But we're only in part 1. So he's going to back out. He's going to say some polite advice or feedback about carrying on with Lord Debling or something like that. And then all the people who are waiting for these two to just stop being ridiculous and get together already, they're all going to yell at their screens. They're going to yell at Copium Colin for reverting back to Mr. No Thoughts Head Empty. And I, on the other hand, I will be cackling because I am here for entertainment. I am here for fictional drama that I know for a fact will all work out well in the end, because that's what this show is. And if this confrontation isn't at the end of episode 4, I still theorize that this scene scene happens at the end of an episode. If it's not episode 4, maybe it's the end of episode 3. But I would still sooner guess episode 4, at least for the time being. So those are my thoughts on the new Bridgerton season 3 trailer, as well as the still images. Like, comment, and subscribe to support my channel, and my paid patrons know more or less all the other videos I'm working on right now, or aiming to work on anyway. It's a bit hard to keep to a to-do list when a trailer gets abruptly dropped onto my screen. One of those videos is another Bridgerton topic though, but I promise it's not a video essay speculating on how experienced or inexperienced Colin Bridgerton is on the show going into season 3.
You ever accidentally download a bad episode of Burn Notice?